I have always loved music, rock stars, guitars, being a DJ. That led to me working on the #1 comedy of all time. Now I do warm-up and stand-up. I combined comedy and music. It makes me happy. That's why this is the Scott BLUGRIND'S Happy Hour, a talk show about comedy and music. Tonight on Scott BLUGRIND'S Happy Hour Comedy and Music Talk Show. We got rock star Keith St. John. He's going to tell us all about doing online shows with the Monsters of Rock cruise people. Rock and roll face masks. Montrose Remembered. Burning Rain. Kingdom Come. Working on the set of Man with a Plan. Led Zeppelin inspired Fab 4. Guest Test and Blue Dinosaur. Oh yeah, let's learn more about Mr. Keith St. John. This week on Scott BLUGRIND'S Happy Hour, we got singer, songwriter, charity event all-star jam organizer, Keith St. John. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got Mr. Keith St. John. Round of applause.
What's up, Scotty?
What's
the
up?
Blue of the grind of the Scotty. Good to see you.
Last week, one of the first rock shows I had seen of people in the same room was you doing a Ronnie Montrose online. Can you tell me how you put that together?
That's right. Okay, so that was for a gentleman named Larry Moran, who is the owner of the Monsters of Rock cruise that happens every year out of southern Florida. And when he started putting together these live streaming shows from the studio in LA, he figured he'd give Keith a call and see if I wanted to do it. So
that's awesome.
I said, neither of my bands that played on the boat, which both of them played this year, Burning Rain and Kingdom Come, neither of them have all their members here local in LA. They're out of state. So I said what I could do is a jam style thing like I do at Ronnie Montrose Remembered. In fact, maybe I'll do a little mini Ronnie Montrose Remembered with some of the players that are local who I know would probably come down.
And some other songs too. I heard all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's how it started. I put it together, and then since I got some of the Kingdom Come guys to come, I just said come 3 times. I got some of the Kingdom Come guys to come. We decided to play a couple Kingdom Come songs.
Yeah,
and
sounded good.
Sean McNabb, and was cool enough to learn some of those on bass because JB Frank lives in Jacksonville, Florida. So we had James Kotek on drums from Kingdom Come, and we had Sean McNabb on bass. We had Rick Steyer from Kingdom Come when we did those songs. That was a lot of fun, and the rest was all Ronnie Montrose stuff.
I've seen you perform, and you do awesome tricks with your mic stand. You're rocking out. You got every move down. You're leaning into the guitar player to get that sing along. How has maybe the current medical situation that's going around affected how you might share a mic, how you might handle yourself on stage?
Well, I'm a little bit. I'm not a health nut, but I'm already a little bit kind of conscientious because I'm a singer and I travel and I tour. Conscientious about already not shaking hands. I'm kind of the guy that the guys in the Midwest kind of look at me like, hey, you're not shaking my hand. It's like, and I'm that guy that's kind of like doing the elbows already. So
Right.
Earlier in March than most people, I think, I was coming to my last shows, walking in the room with my own mic stand and my own mic in my hand, walking onto the stage saying, nobody touch this. Mr. Soundman, don't touch this. I got my alcohol spray already, before everybody went crazy.
Where would I go to find an awesome rock and roll style face mask? You know anywhere I can go?
Well, it's funny that you asked that question. There's a website I've heard of out there called Rock and Roll Face Masks, like ROCKNROLL facemasks.com.
Oh, yeah, it's going to pop up right there. See it, everybody? And
Perfect.
And don't forget, anytime during the show, there's going to be a lot of images popping up. Hit pause, read it, check it out, write it down. So tell me about how that gets started.
So what happened with Rock and Roll Face Masks is Sherry and I started a custom stagewear company called Riot Stitch. That's riotstitch.com. And it was picking up momentum. The marketing was going good. People were liking the stuff. Some famous guys and famous fans were liking the stuff and starting to use it. And then, bam, COVID thing hit. And we had all these materials and sewing supplies and sewing machines sitting around. And so we started making our own masks because the face mask thing, supply became, what's the right word for it? It became delayed.
It was an issue.
Yeah.
You couldn't find them anywhere.
It was an issue, but if you ordered stuff, it was telling you weren't going to get it for a few weeks. So we started making our own. And we started grabbing some more rock and roll looking material that we had laying around. And we just looked at each other pretty much simultaneously and went, let's do this. So we started making some face masks. We just banged them out one night, made a bunch of them, put a sample up on my Facebook page, and within 24 hours, we had a boatload of orders.
Oh, that's fantastic.
rockandrollfacemask.com. Get yours today. When I started the Ronnie Montrose Remembered thing, I did it because I didn't feel that after his death, there was a proper memorial show done for him, nor was there a proper service where people could come and just pay their respects. It was all kind of rushed, and it was in the Bay Area.
Right.
And it happened too fast for people to make arrangements and fly up there. There was a show, there was a concert. Sam played it. He kind of signed it, and
that's nice.
It was mostly Bay Area people, and I sang at it too, and it was cool. It was a good idea, but everything was just so crazy because everyone was still in such shock.
Yeah,
it had just happened, and it was very shortly after he actually passed that we did this. So this was a couple of years later. And a promoter asked me, who gets these big venues around the NAMM convention in Southern California, if I wanted to do. Because I had hosted a lot of big jams before, and they would call me to see if I'd want to put stuff together. And I said, yeah, man, I know exactly what I want to do. I want to do this. How about this Ronnie Montrose Remembered thing? And they said, sounds great, put it together. So I did. And I put out some emails and some phone calls, and the response was overwhelming. I have more people than I could fit into the show.
Wow.
And we've done 4.5 hour long shows of us just, going through Ronnie's legacy of the different bands he's had and the hits, and of course the Montrose stuff. And I've gotten charity organizations involved. This past year, American Cancer Society wanted to be part of it. They came down. We've had Sweet Relief down every year since the beginning, a charity who takes care of musicians in need, especially in the area of medical insurance, lacking medical insurance, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And all that stuff, just want to interject in here, has led to me starting this company called the Helping Hands of Rock. Helping Hands of Rock is a company I started in conjunction with the American Cancer Society, who I got involved with after doing this charity event for the Epilepsy Foundation down in Orange County last year. They came to the production, and they were impressed enough that they were following what I was doing. They got interested in checking out the Ronnie Montrose Remembered shows I was doing down at NAMM, and they got involved in the Ronnie Montrose Remembered thing. And I had been in talks with some of the brass down here in the Southern California chapter of the American Cancer Society about how can we develop a fund which is for entertainment industry folks and musicians and whatnot.
That's nice.
To help them out in their dire times of need, meaning like when they're sick and when they need it, the people that are struggling. We started a joint company together, which is a little subsidiary outside of ACS, so we can make up our own rules and do what we want.
And then just give the profits to...
Right.
Right.
Called the Helping Hands of Rock.
It's wonderful. That's so nice of you, man. That's really
the
thoughtful.
idea is to get... Thank you, man. And I think you have to be thoughtful to your fellow humans. I think that's why we're here, really, in the long run. What's the game?
It's called Guest Test. That's right. It's Guest Test time with Scotty B. And as always, we got Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah, yeah.
And Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy!
Let's win some money for charity. Guest Test. It is now time for the guest test. Are you ready, Keith?
Yeah.
All right. Question number 1. It's a Keith question.
Oh, gosh. Setting me up for disaster.
I think you'll do pretty good. What famous Keith is widely credited with giving Jimmy Page the idea to call his band Led Zeppelin?
Oh my God! It's not the sun. It's the other one. It's the other thing. It's Keith. Venus, Mars. Keith Moon.
Let me ask Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah.
That was my flyaway. It's the flyaway.
Those are the longest yeses in the history of game shows.
But it's Dio, so he can take as long as he wants, and that is true because look at this information. And once again, if there's something you want to look at more, hit pause and take a look. We got some pictures of Keith Moon on stage at the Forum 1977, where he came out, had some fun, jumped on the mic, jumped in, did some fun on Moby Dick, and did some rock and roll and some whole lot of love with Led Zeppelin. But here's an interesting point up top in an article by Rolling Stone magazine. It was John Entwistle, Keith Moon, John Paul Jones, and Jimmy Page helping Jeff Beck record Beck's Bolero. And the story goes, they made a reference that we should start a band. And then someone said, oh, that's going to go down like a lead balloon. Everybody thinks it's Keith Moon, but according to Rolling Stone, John Entwistle maintained all the way to he passed that he's the one who said that. No! Okay, here we go. This is the $5 question. Ronnie Montrose played on Van Morrison's Tupelo Honey album, playing electric, acoustic, and mandolin. He also has one song credited on Van Morrison's St. Dominic's Preview. Would you like a too much reverb hint?
I guess I'm going to have to take one at this point.
It's a deep track, so I'm going to give you a little bit of an act out into the hit, and the first word is the act out. You ready?
Listen,
Oh,
Abe.
lion.
Listen to the lion.
Listen to the lion.
Okay.
All right. You know what? I think I have to ask Ronnie James Dio if that is correct. And
Yeah.
I know it's correct.
Show me the money.
that's correct. He recorded all the tracks for Tupelo Honey, Van Morrison, one of my favorite singers of all time, doing some amazing acoustic work. And they had an extra track left over that got put on the next album. And the next, here's the graphic. Boom, look at that beautiful album. I love Van Morrison.
Yeah.
Show me the money.
Here's the $10 question. Here we go. The movie Rockstar, starring one of my old co-workers, Jennifer Aniston. She was so pretty in that movie. All right, $10.
Swing.
Swing.
Swing. Swing.
Oh, what a sweetheart. Okay, here we go. Who played the drummer in the movie Rockstar? Not in Steel Dragon, but in the tribute band Blood Pollution. That remember
don't
Mark
slaughter me if I get this wrong. That would be Blas Elias.
Oh, let me ask Ronnie J. What do you think?
Yeah.
Throw it down.
That is correct.
$10.
Let's take a look. Oh, I got a cool graphic for you too. Look at that. Hey, there's a shot of them at the bottom from the scene. Remember that scene when they were down below rehearsing? And then above, that's you guys in Burning Rain. And then there's a beautiful shot of him with Jennifer Aniston, most likely from set. And then there's a good shot of him back with the boys from Slaughter. What a nice guy.
How you doing?
Look out.
I was born ready. Let's keep going,
Going ready.
Scotty.
$15
Keep it
question.
going.
Oh, Mr. Sammy there, you have shared two of the greatest guitar players of all time, Mr. Ronnie Montrose and Mr. Neil Schon. You've performed with both of them. What was the name of the band, the album that Sammy did with Neil Schon?
HSAS.
I love that album. I don't know. What do you? I'm just gonna say, Gio. I already did it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a. Did you?
Blue to the Scotty to the grind. I had to learn that record when I went out with Neil, man.
Which symbol is associated with which member of Led Zeppelin? A,
Oh, I got this. Jimmy Page.
B,
Should I just do it?
Just-
B, John Paul Jones. C, John Henry Bonham. Moby Dick, Dick, Dick. D is Robert Plant, the Featherman.
That is-
I'm not wearing my feathers today.
Yeah.
that was a kind of a peaceful one. All right, here we go. Zoso, the symbol's been around since 1557. The rumor is, because Jimmy Page has never directly said what it means, is it stands for Saturn. And Saturn rules Capricorn, which is Jimmy Page's astrological sign. Theory has it. The other three have more straight up answers. Jimmy's never said what Zoso was. John Paul Jones and John Bonham both referred to a book by Rudolf Koch, and he had a book called Book of Signs. John Paul Jones's symbol represents a person of competence and confidence. And John Bonham's three circles represents mother, father, and child. Robert Plant is not from that book. It's the feather of Mata, an Egyptian goddess of fairness. And it's the emblem of a writer, with the feather referring to a quill. And he was a great lyric writer. That's the $20 question. I'm going to give you 24, an extra bonus for each symbol. Round of applause for Keith St. John. Hey Ringo, you ready for the Fab Four?
But we should do another theme show for Keith. I know he's a big plant fan.
I like plants.
It's cool, please some plants. Check me out, fellas. What are you guys?
You said plants, not Robert Plants.
Keith's
Fab
Fab
Four.
Four.
Who's your favorite comedian, Keith?
Ooh, George Carlin, Robin Williams, Jackie Gleason, and John Cleese.
Who's your favorite lead singer?
Everybody. But let's see. Paul McCartney, Mick Jagger, very obvious. Robert Plant, and Freddie Mercury. But there's about 1,000 more.
No pressure, Keith, but who's your favorite drummer?
Oh my God. Has to be Buddy Rich.
Nice.
Then, of course, Bonzo. Let's go Bill Bruford and Neil Peart.
Hey, Keith, we look like brothers. Who's your favorite bass player?
Let's put Paul McCartney in there. Bootsy Collins,
Nice.
John Paul Jones, and Chris Squire.
Who's your favorite on the lead guitar?
Let's go Keith Richards. Of course, Jimmy Page. Eddie Van Halen's got to be in there.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Paul Simon.
Want to know what's your favorite movie?
So I got The Shining, The Departed. See where this is going.
Yeah.
Reservoir Dogs, and let's do One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Friends, Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, The Rain Song, and the full live album side version of Dazed and Confused.
Hey, Keith, what's your guilty pleasure jams?
Jesus Christ Superstar, Broadway play on Broadway with Ian Gillan singing as Christ. The Bee Gees, before disco, they had a folk trio. Right. They had a lot of great songs. Let's see. The song Kiss and Say Goodbye by the Manhattans. And number 4, I'm going to go with by Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky, Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies.
Hey, Keith, check out my bird. Who's your favorite bird singer?
Early on, it was Aretha Franklin, but there are many. There are many greats. Singing-wise, a young Mariah Carey, a young Christina Aguilera, and a young Whitney Houston. Very, very hard to tangle with those girls.
Hey, Keith, what's your favorite tasty munchies?
Oh, Munchie. All right, it's a little more chewy than Munchie, but chocolate Twizzlers, baby. Chocolate Twizzlers. I'm going to go Castelverno Olives. Number 3, I'm going to go Hook's Cheddar with the fig and olive Raincoast cracker. And running a distant last, we'll go with some crisp veggies and some roasted garlic hummus.
We could have just been Led Zeppelin.
Keith's so full.
Blue dinosaur. Blue dinosaur. Blue dinosaur.
So I was warming up the audience for Man with a Plan, a sitcom starring Matt LeBlanc and Kevin Nealon. And I'm in the audience. I play guitar. I was doing all kinds of bit. And I thought, I want to get a singer. And I have seen Keith around at All-Star Jams just being the nicest guy and the best singer. So I thought I'd start with the top of my list. So I contacted Keith and he was way into it. And we did a bunch of shows this season, and you came up and we did Led Zeppelin. We did some Queen. We did a whole bunch we did different songs every week. It was fantastic. What was your takeaway from the experience?
Oh, it was really cool to be behind the scenes at the taping of Man with the Plan, and of course, see Matt and Kevin and the other Matt and everybody in action. I mean, to have a successful comedy sitcom show like that, everyone just has to be so good at what they do. Absolutely. And you really don't get to appreciate it until you're behind the scenes and see what people can do, like right on the spot with their acting and their comedic timing and their great team of producers, lighting, and there's so much stuff going on. And your direction for the audience, and getting the whole room riled up. It's really important to put the whole thing together, and it's just sort of a learning about what it is experience for me.
Yeah, you did great, man. It was so awesome, and you wore the coolest clothes, and you were such a rock star, and it was such a treat that because I don't think none of the other warm-ups did. Sometimes they'd bring up random people, but I'm like, why not bring in a ringer? And we did, and we had so much fun. And because you're so talented, we were able to do different songs every week, and it was a real treat. And
thank you.
Oh yeah, thanks. No, thank you, man. It was a good time. Who's the current lineup of Burning Rain right now?
Current lineup of Burning Rain is Doug Aldrich on guitar, my brother from another mother, and Blas Elias on drums.
From Slaughter.
Some of you people out there know him from Slaughter, yes.
And Blue Man Troop.
Brad Lang. Brad Lang from, I knew him from Y&T on bass guitar. And that's it, man. It's the Fab Four.
The Fab
Lean
Four.
and mean.
But you were signed to a Japanese label. Did you guys get to play a lot of shows in Japan?
Well, Burning Rain in the early days, our first deal was on Pony Canyon, which was a Japanese record label. And our first tours were in Japan and Europe. We didn't really play the States in the early days at all because our only following was overseas. And yes, Burning Rain did introduce me to the lovely country of Japan.
So you guys were playing in Europe a lot. I saw it was a year or so ago. You and Doug even just went and did a Burning Rain acoustic tour over there. So do you guys have a large following in Europe or in certain countries more than others?
Yeah, there's always pockets for any band that you're in. In Sweden, we played 5 cities on that acoustic tour.
Wow.
And they treated us, like royalty over in Stockholm. We played, I think, 5 cities in the UK as well.
Wow. How many hit singles or releases did you have that really resonated in Europe?
I think we've had over the 4 albums, I think we had maybe 5 or 6 singles that people know.
Oh, wow.
Primarily 2 pretty well. The first thing that broke in Europe for us was, ironically, a song called Sherry, Don't Break My Heart.
Yeah, Sherry. Be nice.
But fortunately for me, it's spelled differently, so I didn't get in trouble on that. I just meant it as girl, don't break my heart, so I wrote Cherie, and the French word for girl, Sherry. I was just trying to be cute.
Is that before Steve Perry or after Steve Perry?
I wasn't aware. I think it might have been before.
Yeah, it was before. Come on, Steve. Stealing my man's song. Hey, that was fantastic. Let's give Keith St. John a big round of applause.
Scotty to the blue, to the grind, throwing it down. Thank you for having me, brother.
My pleasure. Hey, next week we got a Pinch, the movie Q&A. That's my first feature film. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called Pinch. It's right there. We got,
Go see it now.
yeah, if you have Amazon Video, you can see it for free right now, or you can rent it. Just look up Pinch. Check out this graphic. We're going to have Jake Lloyd, the writer, director, producer, and we're going to have Michael Foster, who stars in it and is also, if you've ever been to the grocery store and seen those romance novels and you've seen a big guy like Fabio, it's Michael. He was on The Bachelorette. He's on the cover of those magazines. He is a fascinating guy who loves hard rock, and we completely bonded on set, and I can't wait to talk to him. So that's going to be next week.
rockandrollfacemask.com.
Hey, check it out. I highly recommend it. And don't forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, come on, subscribe already. Come on. If you're watching this on Facebook, hit that like. If you're checking it out on Instagram, come on, girl, give me a heart. Anyways, we'll be back next week. Don't forget to check out our bat log of characters. We got Sean McNabb out there. We got Ryan Cook. We got Gary Cannon. We got Freddie Herrera. So much happening. We got Matt Cook from Man with a Plan. They're all out there on YouTube, right where you found this. So check them out. Thank you so much. Take care.